physical disabilities, right? Somebody who's able to see. I spend time with an individual who is blind, and he also has other things going on with special needs. But if he didn't have the internet capability, he lives his life through music and sound because he doesn't have sight. And so he has this little recording device that his mom and dad got for him that he uses. He records conversations, whether you want him to or not. And not only that, but he's got a Braille keyboard, which is like super cool. And I've never seen anything like it in my life because I don't have anybody in my immediate family or my immediate circle that has a disability like that. And he lives his life through music. So if there wasn't so if there wasn't anything like that available to him, he wouldn't be able to really pursue what he loves, which is music. And he can look stuff up on the internet himself. He uses Google. He does voice to talk, sort of like voice to text recognition stuff sometimes too. He's learned how to type on his Braille keyboard. So I think it's amazing. So like something like that is huge. It allows someone like he has autism among some other things, plus he's blind. And so, wow, like maybe 20 years ago, this wouldn't be a thing where they'd have so much accessibility. I love that because it allows him to really be him and pursue the things that he cares about, which mostly is music. And another thing is that I've seen in this time, especially this time of the pandemic that we're all living in now, is I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, honestly. Most of what I've been doing now has been virtual. So if the individuals that I currently spend time with didn't have a smartphone or some sort of electronic device and they didn't know how to kind of maneuver it, then we wouldn't be able to do sessions on FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or any other digital platform. So it's amazing. Like people could still receive services virtually like this. So, and if we didn't have this capability, people would be kind of SOL, for lack of a better way to say it, and 100%. It's that I get to be able to do what I do and help people, and they still get to enjoy what they like to do, and they're doing it themselves. I mean, I have individuals who have Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism, and most of them, not all of them, but most of them connect with me straight up, just me and them. So they've been able to figure out how to use FaceTime and Skype and Zoom and all these other digital platforms, which is really cool. And so like that's kind of the long-winded answer, but I enjoy.
That's an awesome answer. It's also beautiful. I really like what you said. This was unique for me to hear that it lets him be him. It lets them be them. They're not restricted by anyone else's perception of how they should express themselves. It's letting people be who they want to be. Which at the end we all have the obstacles of the internet and how much we can actually take advantage of it. So I think that's really beautifully said. And I did notice some things that you said about your services as well, that it's about improving the quality of life, and that is by letting people express themselves in the way they want to do. So I think we really relate. Yeah. We really relate there. Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your opinions about accessibility and web accessibility while we're here?
As it pertains to those who have developmental disabilities or physical disabilities, or just in general?
Sure, in general. I mean, I know that you deal with music, which is really interesting. I'd love to hear more.
Well, web accessibility is great for music. I mean, you could really learn how to play an instrument just by popping onto YouTube. And so seriously, I mean, people can really learn guitar these days, or piano, or whatever instrument you want, without having a physical teacher there. Now, that sounds like kind of crazy, like coming from as a business owner who does one-on-one lessons, and like kind of uses that for their business. But really, you could learn this stuff on your own, and YouTube is out there. There's a lot of really cool apps that are on electronic devices that you need to connect to the internet to, say using GarageBand on an iPad, or there's other apps that you can sort of join other people in real time, almost like you're playing a video game. You got the headset on, you got your video game, but you're not in the same physical space, but you're in the same digital electronic space. And that's been really cool too, that I've seen people using that, playing video games and seeing their friends that they haven't been able to see, just, virtually hear them and maybe see them on the screen in the upper corner. And so I love this because this is now the way the world is. And so we might as well adapt to it and embrace it, because otherwise we'll get left behind. So
100%.
yeah.
Perfectly said. I have nothing to add to that. That's perfectly said.